Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, and welcome back to my channel. At the time of editing this video, Amberlynn uploaded a new video titled, "This Has All Gone Too Far." That video is not included in this video, and I'll cover it tomorrow on my channel. Thanks so much. Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, and whew, what a time for the Zacharymike to go out of town when my primary YouTuber that I cover, Amberlynn'S, has one of the most chaotic weekends of her channel in a very long time, and I am in Macon, Georgia for a wedding. Can you believe? Now, I did have some downtime while I was in Georgia for this wedding. I did check in on what was happening on the internet. I was obviously, well, maybe it's not obvious, but I was getting a lot of DMs, notifications. I mean, people were tagging me and stuff on TikTok where I don't even post as much as I'd like to, sending me DMs on Instagram, my Twitch community blowing up, just like so much conversation happening with Amberlynn. And I was traveling Thursday through literally yesterday, Monday. I got back Monday morning. I was very exhausted. Noel loves to buy tickets for a very early morning flight, which always leaves me so exhausted. So I had all of these ideas of like, oh, it's an early morning flight. I'll come back and I'll get right back to the YouTubies, right back to Twitch. And I surely didn't, because I was exhausted. I was so tired from traveling and waking up early and things like that. I have felt a little overwhelmed trying to conceptualize how I'm even gonna cover this, considering I'm not doing it in real time. I think, my best videos are ones where I'm reasonably reacting for the first time, never before seen, don't know anything, don't have any context of what came before. I can't do that in this situation. I mean, I haven't watched either of Amberlynn's videos that she posted, so we will do a reaction to both of those, but I have so much context of what's going on that I know stuff going into these videos, and I always like to be upfront about that with y'all, because I think it does change the context of what I'm doing and my reaction and things like that. Now, I had previously said prior to leaving and prior to all of this that I didn't want to get too much into speculation. I mean, in general, that's pretty much the vibe over here. I generally don't want to get too crazy into speculating what's going on, conspiracy theories, this, that, the other. And prior to me leaving for this trip, it seemed like most things were speculation, and there wasn't, at that time, a lot of proof about anything. And it's also kind of hard for me to remember what was speculation before I left and what came out afterwards. Because, I do vaguely recall people kind of, starting to talk about maybe the possibility that Tommy was a feeder, but at that time it didn't seem like there was any proof out quite yet. And then there was another TikToker who had said that, Tommy had been in her DMs trying to talk with her, and that TikToker was a plus-size, super morbidly obese, model. And yeah, I said, listen, I'm not much for speculation. I would rather just wait and see what Amberlynn has to say, because that's really generally the vibe that I have. And listen, when I left, it was all speculation. And now there's just lots of confirmation about Tommy and her interests and maybe not being a great human. In particular, lots of people have pulled up receipts about her being on a feeder website, and she had a couples account on said website with an ex of hers. I am watching this back as I'm editing and realizing I used the word ex a lot, and what I really meant was Tommy's late partner. I'm not really sure why I referred to her as an ex, because I don't think they ever broke up, but I think it honestly was just sleep deprivation on my part, so sorry about that. And I don't want to put too much more attention on the ex. If you don't know, the ex is deceased. The ex passed away in April. If you're looking for those particular receipts, I don't plan on including them, just because at this point it seems like the ex-girlfriend of Tommy has really been put on blast, her family has been put on blast. I kind of feel like she probably didn't ask to be a part of this discourse or wouldn't have wanted to be a part of this discourse, and as such, I do think in the context of everything, it's important to know that she existed and that she passed away in April. But I don't want to put up like screenshots of her photo or things like that. There are creators out there who I'm sure have provided a detailed outline of the timeline of all of these events, all of the receipts and things like that, and I just don't know that it's going to be particularly helpful for me to share that. So certainly if that's something that you're interested in, I'm sure there's somebody out there that you can go watch and find and see those things. I just don't want to continue to put out all of her business like that. Because regardless of who Tommy is, what Tommy's, intentions are in this situation, this, that, the other, I don't know that, it's fair to put this deceased woman on blast again and again and again. But the context is important because Tommy's ex did pass away in April, and we're talking about Tommy being in this relationship now, at least according to Amberlynn, for the past month already. And that's not to say that people can't move on in their own time or things like that, but it does, I think fairly lead to some questions. I think there's a lot of questions, in particular that this ex also participated in this feeder content with Tommy, and also just in general that's very quick time frame to move on from losing a partner. And of course it also adds to the layers of how quickly Amberlynn moves on from things, and just in general her poor behaviors when it comes to starting new relationships. I know that in one of the videos that Amberlynn posts, the first one that she posts, she does address some of the rumors. I think even specifically she talks about the TikTok girly that said that Tommy had reached out to her. I think I saw something about that on one of the social media platforms. So I'm curious to see what all Amberlynn does address of these things. And I also know that one of the videos that Amberlynn posted was her saying that she and Tommy are officially over. So I think that's about it. I really do appreciate people being patient with me. Obviously, I couldn't help that my friend was getting married over the weekend. I obviously couldn't do anything about that. And I know for some of y'all have already moved on. And I know also for some of y'all that you'll probably be looking for people who are talking a little bit more in depth about speculation and conspiracy theories. I know it's a pretty big speculation / conspiracy theory that Valentine and Tommy have been the same person all along. So I just can't be the person that will probably get into that for you. I mean, I think knowing that is a conspiracy theory that people have, I will be on the lookout in the reaction to these videos for anything that might suggest that. But in general, I'm probably not going to be giving you this big, long, in-depth analysis of these videos. I'm just giving you my genuine reaction, which is honestly probably what you would have gotten had I been able to react in real time, right? That's probably what I would have given. I'm not big at overanalyzing these things. I'm literally just here to watch Amberlynn, and I appreciate that y'all are joining me today to watch her with me. I don't know, I just feel weirdly overwhelmed because I'm so behind on all of this, and I don't ever necessarily claim to be an Amberlynn expert, but sometimes I feel like people expect me to be an Amberlynn expert, so since I'm so far behind, I just feel like I've missed so much, and as such, I'm just so grateful that y'all are still here to watch, even though you probably watched people watch this content 1,200 times already, you know what I'm saying? And if I didn't already say it, there'll be timestamps so you can skip around, but that's probably not super helpful if you've already sat through the 9 or 10 minutes of this video thus far. So the first video we're reacting to is the one that she posted 4 days ago called Addressing the Rumors. And it is 8 minutes and 46 seconds long, and it came after she posted the TikTok and Instagram reels that featured Tommy. And I do have to say, for better or worse, she might be making horrible life choices and decisions right now regarding relationships. But I do have to say that it's great for her views. She's doing great view-wise. All of these, her long-distance girlfriend meeting for the first time video has 82,000 views. The Addressing the Rumors video has 78,000 views. And then the second video we'll watch called It's Over has 96,000 views. So the drama with Tommy is doing well for her channel. I'll also say, you know, what's crazy about all of this is that also it's like hitting people who don't normally watch Amberlynn, right? I have a real life friend who knows what I do on the internet and knows like the people that I cover on the internet, and he doesn't choose to watch any of it, which is obviously his prerogative and probably for the best. But he even messaged me and he was like, Zach, why is Amberlynn showing up in my For You page? Like, what is going on with this? Why is this happening? So it's also hitting some like people who might not also be familiar with Amberlynn or might not normally seek out Amberlynn's content. So it's going well for the views for her. But anyways, let's get to, shall we?
Hello guys.
Hi.
So I might get emotional and I really don't want to. I have been doing my fair share of crying for sure.
Okay.
Sure it looks it. I'm just having like genuinely a hard time. As you guys know, I met my girlfriend in person and like, for the lack of a better word, like it was just magical, like truly magical, and it just...
Sorry, I know she's crying and it's probably rude as hell for me to laugh. But describing meeting this girlie as magical and you've literally known her for like a month, it's just like, girl, that's lust. That's lust, that's not love. Like, you barely allegedly know her if the conspiracy theories aren't true, right? And this is also, I mean, I've said this before, but this is always why I'm like, team like just listening to whatever comes out of Amberlynn's mouth, because yes, if the conspiracy theories are true, all of that's wild and crazy, but also even if she's telling the truth, like for her to be on here crying about a magical experience she had with a girl that she allegedly knew for a month, like it's crazy. It's just nonsensical.
I haven't felt that happy in forever.
Which also, just to be clear, I think that's also why people don't believe her, right? Like, that's why people have or even think that some of these things can't be true, because for most people, like, that is not the reaction. That's like, that is, nobody gets this invested a month into knowing somebody, right? Like, most people don't approach relationships that way, and I think that's some of what leads to people coming up with conspiracy theories.
You know, finally being with someone, like, that I feel like isn't ashamed of me, like, it just felt really good.
Well, that... It is interesting that she's like, oh, somebody that isn't ashamed of me. Because also, I'm not convinced that wifey, Beck, Destiny were ashamed of her, at least at the time of dating her. Because otherwise, why would they have been with her, right? But I think that's also interesting because, like, the alleged feederism of it all. Like, allegedly, Tommy partakes in feederism, and part of that is wanting your partner to be bigger and liking that about them, which can be, I don't know, fine to some extent, but also, like, a lot of the concerns with Tommy is that, and maybe I didn't articulate this enough earlier when I was talking in my little cold open of all the things that I already knew, but part of the concern about Tommy specifically is that she seemed to be interested in a type of feederism where, like, you do want to push your partner to, like, the point of immobility, to the point of, like, serious health concerns and things like that. So, yeah, it would make sense in that case that Tommy was not ashamed of the way that Amberlynn looked, and in fact probably liked the way that Amberlynn looked. And I also think it's interesting, do y'all remember a few reactions ago when I got up out of this chair and I was like, oh, look at the whole package, because Amberlynn was talking about how typically when she would FaceTime with people, she would normally, like, avoid showing her whole body, and she'd do angles and stuff, but for Tommy, she didn't have to do that. I also think that's interesting.
So, like, I posted her on my Instagram, as you guys saw. I also posted her on TikTok, and I can't even tell you how much support we got. Like, it was a lot. Like, majority...
There was a lot of support in it, and I thought that was weird. I outlined in my post about the TikTok that, like, it's wild to me that if you're, like, a true fan of Amberlynn, regardless of knowing anything about Tommy, which even now knowing stuff about Tommy, it's like, why are you happy for her? But even before we knew anything about Tommy, like, why, if you're a true fan of Amberlynn Reid, would you be excited for her to jump into another relationship with a person she's barely known?
Three of you are literally the sweetest, like, ever. So thank you, like, from the both of us, truly. Like, a lot of you saw the happiness and saw the love just in a 16-second clip. So thank you for that. Like,
the 16-second clip is nearly longer than your actual relationship with her. Be serious.
Trust me, there's a lot of it. A lot of love, a lot of happiness, a lot of joy when we're together. Like, it feels magical to me.
There's so much happiness and joy when we're together. You saw her for like a weekend vacation. You saw her for a few days. How can you speak to what it's always like to be together with her?
And you guys know I don't post my girlfriends online because people are crazy.
I mean, true.
Ruin it. They absolutely ruin it, without a doubt. But I remember there was a discussion that me and my girlfriend had. She literally asked me, like, is it important for you that your partner is in your videos? And I said, in fairy tale world, yes. Like, yeah, that would be really nice for me. But realistically, I would understand if my partner did not want to be in my videos. I will never force someone to do that. And she said, literally, because it's important to me, that's why she would be willing to be in my videos. And it just meant a lot. It was very, like, selfless of her. That's just one example of, like, the way that she loves me. Like...
the way that she loves you. It's been a month. But anyways, that did all make me think a little bit about one thing that I wanted to say. And, you know, I know it's probably not a popular opinion. And it really probably, honestly, truly has less to do with Amberlynn as a human and more to do with just, like, how I think humans should be treated in general. But I do have empathy to Amberlynn in the sense that, like, it is impossible for people who are in her life to be a part of her vlogs. I feel like the empathy that I have is that, like, yeah, I can see how it must suck that, like, your reputation online is so poor that, like, people ask not to be involved in it. People don't want to be involved in that part of your life. Like, that really must suck. I 100% can empathize with that. Like, I imagine if that was also my reputation, that I would be pretty bummed out. Although, I have to say, the nature of my YouTube channel, like, I might talk about other people in my life, I might reference Noel, but, like, it's been a very long time since anybody except myself has been on this channel, so I can't really relate in that kind of way. I'm also not vlogging my life, so that's a little bit different too, right? Like, that's not the nature of what we do over here. But anyways, all of that to say, like, that's about where the empathy stops with me. Just to be clear, because she also even acknowledged here in this video that, like, she's fully aware of what sharing her partners online, you know, will involve and entail. And so, like, I guess at this point, like, I think that she's ultimately responsible for protecting her partners. Not that that makes it okay that anybody is personally creeping up into her life like that, because I don't support that or condone that, but, like, I just think on her end, like, she knows now that she can't do that. And it makes me sad, because I even said in previous videos, like, I think in terms of entertainment and content, like, I want to see the people in her life. I want to see the side characters in her life. Now, the other thing I gotta say about this is that, like, it's really, truly, I don't think she sees it as a blessing, but I think this is a blessing for her. Like, I don't condone people going into her life like this, but, like, the fact that people found out this information about her partner should be seen as a somewhat of a blessing for her. Like, it should be somewhat of a positive for her. Like, it really should be, I would think. Like, girl, you're dodging a bullet.
When you see something that's important to your partner, you kind of want to, like, make that happen for them. And she wanted to do that for me, and I thought that was super sweet. So we were super excited to post that video on Instagram and TikTok. And again, the love and support has been just so appreciated. But then there has been a lot that has happened since I posted it, and it's literally just a 16-second clip. And it has validated every fear.
It's literally just a 16-second clip, and this allegedly was literally just a month-long relationship. Like, let's really put these things into perspective, Amberlynn.
That I've ever had about showing a partner on my videos or just on social media in general. There are so many rumors being made up about her, things that are just like wild. Obviously, I have not heard every single rumor, so I can't sit here and deny or confirm every single thing, because literally it's just a lot.
Well, let's go through some of them. I'm curious what rumors she's going to address in this. Like I said, I think I remember seeing somewhere online that she addressed the other TikToker situation type of deal that said that Tommy had reached out to her. But I'm curious what else she has to say.
But I do want to talk about some of the rumors that I have heard.
Let's go.
That's super important. So the first thing is, no, she is not a feeder. People think that she's a feeder, and
well, that's just not true. that's just not true. She's literally on a website that's geared towards feederism. That's just not true. And see, this is also the problem with Amberlynn getting into these relationships with people from the internet, right? Like, regardless of the length of time that she goes in between relationships and whoever, whatever, she just clearly doesn't need to be meeting up with strangers from the internet, because, like, she's not even capable of vetting these people. Like, the other strangers of the internet that watch her do a better job of vetting her partners than she does.
And she's definitely not that. Like, yes, she has a specific type, but I'm letting you guys know that, like, every single person that I've been in a relationship with, everyone that you guys have known, they said that they prefer girls my size. That is a thing that all of my partners have had in common. I think that I don't know if I would ever actually be in a relationship with someone who didn't prefer bigger girls, because it's like, I am really big, and I wouldn't see someone who prefers, like, smaller girls to be in a relationship with me. That probably would never happen. So 9 times...
Sure. I mean, we're not... It's just so hard to hear her say that, because it feels like she knows what Tommy's interests are, and she's trying to justify it. That's what it feels like to me. Because also, like, I mean, there are pictures out there now of, like, Beck's new girlfriend that they're dating, and Beck's new girlfriend is, like, a thicker girl, but is not, like, Amberlynn Reed's size, you know? So, like, yeah, I do see a world where, like, previous partners of Amberlynn's might have a preference for like, thicker women, but I think Tommy's on a different level.
Out of 10, when someone my size is in a relationship, it's more than likely because I am that person's type, and that's no different in this relationship. But to be a feeder is a completely different topic. A feeder versus someone who prefers bigger girls, two completely different things, and she is not that. She is.
It's wild to also even just listen to this conversation, because at this point, and I again, the timeline is weird to me because I was traveling and I don't know when things came out, but like, now there is so much like concrete evidence and proof that this woman is on a like feeder website. In fact, I also saw from people from my Twitch community who said that literally the people that ended up making the connection were people that follow Tommy because Tommy is in the feeder community, and they're people who like keep track of the feeder community, and it wasn't somebody who was a follower of Amberlynn'S that was like looking for Tommy and then just magically found Tommy on these websites. It was people who were already following people in the feederism community who already knew Tommy and happened to see the TikTok with Amberlynn. So I feel pretty confident that Tommy is a feeder based on all of the stuff I've seen, heard, etc.
Is not a feeder. I would never in a million years be in a relationship with one.
Well, I guess a million years happened real quick because it seems like you were.
Around that she has STDs, specifically herpes,
oh,
which is
yeah.
insane and absolutely not true. I don't understand STD shaming anyways. I think that's wild to me, but that's a whole other topic.
I don't know if people were trying to say that, like, we're trying to shame Tommy for that. Actually, probably some people were. I would tend to agree with Amberlynn. Like, I don't, like, people get STIs. Most are treatable. It's really fine. Most people live normal lives with STIs, and it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But also, I think the reason that it even came up with to begin with is somebody was saying that, like, Tommy gave somebody they knew an STI through, like, an affair situation type of deal. So they were bringing into question Tommy's faithfulness. It had less to do, at least initially from what I recall, with Tommy having an STI and just shaming her for it.
But no, she does not have herpes. That's crazy. So majority of these rumors actually came within, like, this anonymous person, like, because the screenshot is floating around literally everywhere, and they were just like, they made up this whole thing and this paragraph, and it's like off the chain crazy. Something about how years ago my girlfriend had a wife and they were trying to, like, get money. No, my girlfriend has never had a wife. She doesn't have a wife. Okay. She's actually not the one that you should be worried about having a wife, but we won't go into that. She's
what? Was that supposed to allude to Valentine? Did Valentine have a wife or something? I'm not worried about any of your partners having a wife, just to be clear, but I don't think that was something... I don't think that was something I had seen as far as speculation goes. I think... I don't remember seeing that at all.
Never asked anyone for money. She has a full-time job. She actually has a really great life. She's never asked me for money. This is actually a topic that I brought up with her, was like, you've never asked me, like, how much money I make? Nothing. Like, she has never talked to me about money. Ever. I'm the one who actually brought it up because I was shocked by it. She was here for 4 days and she bought majority of everything for us, and it's just like, people think that she's using me for money. Nope. She's extremely...
that is something that is interesting for at least the Tommy and Feline. People thought that both of them were there for money. And maybe it's because, like, Amberlynn had kind of set a precedent, because I think, like, in a lot of ways, she had forced Beck to become reliable on her for money. And so I think a lot of people still have this, like, vision of Beck in their mind where Beck really, like, Beck was unable to do anything without Amberlynn's money because of the nature of their relationship. So I feel like people are holding on to that, but it seems that both Feline and Tommy have their own jobs. In fact, I think I also saw, like, some comments about maybe Tommy is a, like, nurse in some kind of way, like a CNA or something like that. So, you know, it doesn't surprise me that these people have jobs because, yeah. But I'm... I do always find it interesting that, like, Amberlynn likes to emphasize that she, you know, she is a kept woman. Like, let people take care of her. Her partners can take care of her.
Extremely independent, and I find that to be pretty attractive, not gonna lie. So those are, like, the main rumors, and I'm telling you guys, majority of the rumors that you're hearing are absolutely untrue. There is this one thing that's floating around of this girl saying how, like, my girlfriend messaged her weeks ago. It wasn't weeks ago, it was months ago. It was even before me and my girlfriend even started talking. And that literally means nothing to me. Like,
well, that's also interesting then, because even if it wasn't weeks ago and it was months ago, then the timeline that I know of is that Tommy's ex, who passed away in April, meaning that Tommy was in a relationship still in April. I don't know how many months ago is months ago, but to me that feels like that could have been, you know, while Tommy was in a relationship with somebody. While Tommy was in a relationship with somebody who may not have been doing well health-wise. Like, I do think that's suspicious and maybe should be of your concern, you know? I don't know. But I guess in Amberlynn land, like anything that happened prior to the month before she started talking to her doesn't matter.
Yes, people have a past. Like, I was in a whole ass relationship before I met this girl. Like, there is a such thing as, like, flirting and dating around and, like, trying to find your person. Like, I will never judge her for that. I think that...
Wait, but... But wait, why would, if everything is chill and it happened months before you, why do you have to be, like, I would expect that you would be okay with her talking to girls and DMs and things like that. Like, why are you presenting it now like it's chill that she did all of this? Like, it's okay to flirt around and date multiple people or whatever. Like, I don't understand. Maybe I'm just confused.
That's just, it's really weird that would even be like a topic of discussion of like, oh my god, Amberlynn's girlfriend has talked to other girls in the past. Like, duh. We all have. Like, literally, I've been in how many relationships? Also, like, bringing in people from her past or bringing in, like, family members or bringing in, like, friends or whatever it may be is just crazy, and it's not warranted. It doesn't need to happen.
Well, that's interesting because she's saying that immediately after talking about this, like, this woman who Tommy was allegedly DMing with. And just to be clear, like, that woman came forward about this. Like, that woman left a comment on Amberlynn's TikTok or on TikTok somewhere and said, like, oh, like, I have DM'd with this girl. Like, this girl has tried to get with me. So, like, that's not somebody else bringing her into this. Like, she brought herself into this. She came into this on her own.
I just really want to protect her because her heart is so pure and genuine and beautiful. Like, one of the actual greatest people I've ever known. And I will do anything in my power to protect her.
One of the actual greatest people I've ever known, but I've only known her for a month. It's just like, I guess that's my thing, is like, I've known some people for a month and I'm like, oh, you seem like a really great person. However, I've only known you for a month. Like, I think that's the issue, is that, like, Amberlynn takes it to such, like, hyperbole, like, immediately. And that's what I think is, like, hard for people to understand, because, like, how have you only known this person for a month and you just know with your whole chest that she's one of the greatest people you've ever known? You've known her for a month, allegedly. Like, that's not, like, there are so many things you might not know, and clearly, at least if you're to believe right here, if you are to be believed, like, you clearly don't know a lot. Like, if you are with your whole chest in this video saying my girlfriend is not a feeder, and yet there's all these receipts of her on feeder websites, like, you clearly don't know this person well enough to be saying that she's, like, one of the greatest people you've ever known. It's just wild.
This has been affecting her. She's not used to being in the spotlight like this, especially with so many people who, like, want to create drama or create content regarding her. Really, ultimately, it's people creating lies and rumors, and it's affecting her. It's affecting me, and it's not fair, and it's not right. She's like,
I just also, like, in terms of being, like, a responsible social media content creator, like, I'm just curious, like, what you even did to prepare her for this then. Like, what did you tell her about this situation? Because I gotta be so honest with you. I don't have the level of, like, nonsense in my life in terms of people who follow me that Amberlynn does. And yet, anytime that I, like, post somebody on my Instagram story, this, that, the other, I always ask their permission before I post about them on the internet. I just always say, like, listen, I am a somewhat, like, at least compared to most of my friends that I know in life, like, I have a lot of followers. I'm a somewhat well-known, like, public figure on the internet. Like, here are some of the risks that go along with, like, me posting you in my Instagram story. Are you okay if I post you here? Like, is that chill? Like, I always do that, and I don't even have the kind of following that Amberlynn does. So I'm just like, again, what are you doing to prepare your audience for that? Or your partner for that? Or the people that are in your life? Because also, mind you, she just recently had all the drama with people prying into her mom's, like, criminal history and things like that. Like, she literally just went through all of this, and I don't want to blame her for, like, the bad behavior of people on the internet, but I think it's also your responsibility as a person that allegedly cares for this other person to, like, help mentally prep them for what it really means to be on your social media.
Literally just tried to love me and have a relationship with me, and she's being torn apart for it. So to protect her and to protect us and to protect our peace, I don't think I want her on camera anymore, and I don't think she wants to be on camera. Like, we were going to share our relationship online. Like, she was going to be in my videos, and I really wanted that, and she wanted that. Like, it was going to be a moment for all of us, and I know how many people would have literally loved to see that, and I know there still are so many of you, majority of you, are rooting for us, and I appreciate that so much. But they're
now, spoiler alert, like, well, I already said this anyways in this video, and I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but, like, she broke up with her, so it doesn't matter. Or, well, allegedly broke up with her, so it doesn't matter. There is speculation that they haven't actually broken up from what I've heard. But anyways, all of this to say is, like, at this point, let's say they didn't break up. At this point, it's already out there. She's already, like, known to people. So what would it hurt to just continue on posting her on the internet, you know? To me, what that actually kind of hints at from Amberlynn is that she knows that there's more out there, that there's more to be discovered, and she doesn't want more to come out about it. Because otherwise, if everything is already out there, if all the rumors and speculation have already existed, then why wouldn't you just keep on keeping on, you know? Like, that's not going to stop people from having negative feelings about Tommy. That's not going to stop people from speculating about her. I mean, like, the reality is that people never saw Feline on Amberlynn's actual channel, and people still speculated, and people still, like, found out things about her because Amberlynn had put her name out there at one point. Like, the only way for us to truly know nothing and just move on is for her to just not talk about them at all, like, to not give any identifying information. Kind of like what happened with Valentine, if you believe that Valentine is a separate character from Tommy, you know?
There is a group of people who have ruined the possibility of something really great for this channel, and I know that I can carry on this channel by myself. I always have. Somehow I always make it through, and I'm grateful for every single one of you who watch me. But, like, it would have been fun to have another element. I know you guys would have loved that, but ultimately mental health comes first.
Sure.
People's well-being comes first.
Of course.
And I
love Amberlynn, the mental health queen, telling us that mental health comes first. How about you go to therapy and then we can talk about mental health coming first, girly pop.
Anything to affect my girlfriend, because she means the absolute world to me. It just sucks, like, a lot that this has happened. It was literally just because of a 16-second clip of us just being happy and us just being in love. I think that we just need to do better as people. I
don't particularly love being lectured. I mean, I know she's not talking directly to me. I specifically in my videos ask people to not ruin this for us. But, like, it's hard to be lectured by her when it's just like, you've been doing this for how many years and you're surprised? Like, that's what I guess what I'm saying is, like, I think you should feel comfortable and free to post whatever you want on any of your social media platforms, but all of us have to be, like, informed about how to navigate the internet. And you have been doing this for so many years, and yet you've learned nothing. Like, you've learned nothing! I mean, I guess we're not surprised, are we?
I don't really know what else to say right now. It just ultimately sucks really bad. And it's like, as much as I wanted people to do the right thing, I should have known that, like, that wasn't gonna happen.
True.
That's really sad, really.
True. But also, I do want to emphasize, this is a blessing. You got people out there doing the best vetting of your partner. They're helping you identify somebody who maybe like, doesn't actually have your best intentions at heart. They helped you discover that, and that's not me co-signing people prying into your life, but also it's kind of like, you know what? Look at this as a blessing in disguise, girly pop.
I know when I'm gonna be filming again. I kind of just feel like defeated a little bit, and it's just hard. So, anyways, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Well, there you go. there you go. I will say after that video, she also posted a community tab post where she said, there are multiple communities that watch my videos, but there's one in particular that likes to see me miserable, so they go to large lengths to do so. In the most recent events of my life, I decided to share someone special to me, but by doing that, a lot of bad has happened because of it, when all I wanted to do was share my happiness. My girlfriend's late partner was doxxed. Doxing is never, ever okay, especially in this kind of situation. I will never share personal details, but the rumors being spread about her and my girlfriend are not true at all. The doxing, the harassment, the hate, the bullying, it is all way too much for me, let alone two people who do not deserve it whatsoever. This has completely altered my life and now my girlfriend's life. I know this will land on ears of people who do not give a crap about what I'm saying, but if you have a heart at all, leave my girlfriend and her late partner out of it. Talk all the shit about me that you want. I really don't care, but they do not deserve this. A couple notes. She has, like, removed comments from everything. She's taken away the ability to comment on almost all of her social media. But I think this community tab post is important because it acknowledges that people are correct about Tommy's late partner. And that's important because there are pictures of Tommy and Tommy's late partner on these feeder websites. There are accounts for them, a couple's account for them on these feeder websites. So by posting this, Amberlynn is confirming to people that they are correct about this. Like, Amberlynn is acknowledging that people are correct, that this is in fact Tommy's ex-partner, that this is in fact the person in question. And so to some extent that makes everything that we just got done watching her say about Tommy not being a feeder and this, that, the other, just a load of garbage. It's just a load of garbage. And that's not to say that I think Amberlynn is lying. I think perhaps Amberlynn believed Tommy when Tommy said, no, I'm not a feeder. But like the fact that Amberlynn can't look at the facts about it, that Amberlynn can't see that, like, oh, if people are talking about this person, then they're correct that Tommy was indeed a feeder. Do you know what I'm saying? So Amberlynn also has a video called It's Over, and we're gonna watch that as well right now. So let's get to.
Hi guys, I look like crap.
Hi.
I really don't even know what to say, but like, you guys don't know the full story at all. And
then tell us.
Like, the hardest part of this whole thing is like, there is a big part of this story missing, but
I feel like, tell us then. Tell us the big part of the story missing, if it's that important, if it'll change, like, our thoughts, feelings, opinions. I will say, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of, like, the screenshots from the feeder websites and things like that came after Amberlynn's last video, so in between the video we just watched and this one. So, like, it's possible she didn't have all the proof in the first one, but the proof is in the pudding, girl. It's there. So if there's more to the story, then let us know. I mean, I will say also, maybe if it's not clear, that it's sort of implied that people think that Tommy had a hand in why her partner passed and why her partner is no longer living. And I mean, that's like fully lots of speculation, because I don't know that anybody's posted like the actual cause of death, nor do I really want to know. But that is, I think, heavily implied by a lot of people on the internet, just for the record. So, like, if there's more to the story that we need to know about, I think, like, share it with us, or don't, you know? Like it's kind of sort of just one of those things, like, share it or get off the pot. Like, Amberlynn, now is not, I don't think, the time for you to come on here and be like, there's so much I want to talk about, but I can't. Like, if it's that serious, tell us about it.
I'm never going to sit there and talk about other people's personal things, because that's not That's not me. That's not who I am. But because of this, me and now my ex, we're not together anymore. And this has left her, like, debilitated. Like, literally, like, her mental health has gone down so much. Like, she's literally one of the greatest people. And it's like, to see people say things.
The one of the greatest people thing. Amberlynn, you gotta stop talking in hyperbole like that. You got to, because you barely know this woman. Unless it's true that this actually is Valentine and you've been talking to her for way longer than a month. Like, it sounds crazy for you to say, I've known this woman for a month and she's one of the greatest people ever. You don't know her. You can't talk in hyperbole like that about her because you just don't know her. It's clear that there are things that you are not aware of.
Things that are not true at all. Like, it's not surprising. That's literally what people do. That's what they've done my whole freaking YouTube career. And for these people to act like they care about me now, yes, I know there are thousands of you who love me and support me and want to see me happy. And I appreciate those messages. Like, you guys have no idea. Like, I feel it.
That's the thing, though, is I think that there are so many people who genuinely are concerned about this. There's certainly, I mean, I think in Amberlynn land, there's always going to be people who are not actually concerned about her well-being or how she's doing. But I think that there are a number of people who are genuinely concerned about Tommy's involvement in feederism and things like that. And I just don't think Amberlynn's in a place that she can hear it right now, if we're being honest. Like, I don't think she has the capacity to think about that. And, like, in her head, we're just all haters. Like, anybody who's concerned about her is just a hater. Which is, I mean, I guess par for the course in terms of, like, how she approaches most things on her channel. Like, if you aren't 100% supporting her, you're a hater. But I do think that there are people who are genuinely concerned about Tommy as a person.
But all of these people who act like they care about me and they're worried about me, bull. Like, you guys have never wanted to see me happy. There are so many of you who love to see me miserable. And you're getting that. You won again.
I don't think she'd believe me if I said this. And certainly I am here for the entertainment. Like, I do enjoy watching the saga that is Amberlynn Reed on the internet. But I don't think a lot of you would be surprised that, like, I also do genuinely find this partner to be concerning. Based on what I've seen on the internet, like, it doesn't seem like this partner would be good for Amberlynn in the long run. I also think that there's just, like, too many coincidences. Like, if you really think about it, and, like, they started dating a month ago or whatever, that's right around the time that Amberlynn stopped taking semaglutide, right? Like, it's right around the time that we stopped hearing her talk about, like, losing weight and things like that. All of these things that Amberlynn has talked about wanting, needing in her life, like, hoping for in her life. So I think, yeah, like, I genuinely, like, outside of the entertainment of this whole spectacle that's going on right now on her channel, like, yeah, there is definitely a part of me that's worried. I think there are people that are truly Amberlynn supporters and aren't just watching for entertainment, like the messy entertainment like me, who do really care about her too, but I don't think that she's able to hear that or listen to that, you know?
You literally won again. What's happening is not okay. Like, it's not, and this is the very fucking reason why I don't want to show people in my videos. It has nothing to do with me and everything to do with so many of you. I am talking to a big part of you, but I'm not talking to all of you, so I need that to be, like, fully known. Like, I know there are a lot of people who love and support me. Like, I know that, but, like, right now, that is not being heard as much as I feel it. What is really being heard is, like, y'all are ruining someone's life who does not deserve it. Like, it is freaking crazy.
Well, listen. I think what we need to know is, like, how is her life really being ruined by all of this? Because, like, is it being ruined because y'all are breaking up? Is it being ruined because she's being exposed as, like, a feeder? I'm generally pretty, like, kink positive, sex positive, but, like, it's clear that some of the stuff that Tommy engages in is not necessarily, like, harmless, right? Like, I think a lot of, like, ways that I feel sex positive and kink positive is because typically those things are supposed to lack harm for all participants that are involved. And it doesn't feel like that's what Tommy's doing, and I think people are concerned about that. And Tommy, just to be clear, also put stuff out onto the internet in regards to that before you ever put her in a 16-second TikTok girly pop, okay? So, like, she has her own, like, internet history as evidenced by the screenshots of her feeder content, of her feeder accounts and things like that.
What is happening right now? You guys have interfered with my life in a way that, like, it makes me want to just fucking disappear. You guys have no idea. Like, if you guys knew the full story. And
in all sincerity, maybe that, like, maybe that is what you need to do. Like, it would not obviously be good for my business. It wouldn't be great for me, but it sounds like maybe taking time away from the internet would be great for you, Amberlynn. Like, in all seriousness, like, take a break from YouTube. Go to therapy, which, by the way, I don't think you're doing, even prior to all of this, but even more now. It clearly has impacted your mental health, and like you just said in the video we just watched, your mental health needs to come first. So, like, yeah, maybe you do take a break. Take a break and go see a therapist. Spend some time with people you love and care about. Like, this is clearly not working out for you. You're clearly unwell.
You'd be like, oh, wait a minute. But you don't, and you'll never know. But, like, to find out all this fucking shit and then make your own narrative with it and say that I'm in danger, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. This has pushed me away. Completely pushed me away. I don't think I'll be the same for a long time. Like, truly a long time, because
I also just imagine, like, I have to say, honestly, that she has to be pushing people to go seek out, like, the reaction channels and the commentary channels that are covering this situation. Because if you didn't know all the stuff that I've already talked about, or the things that you've seen in literally any other reaction channel, Jordy, Alex, Mr. Snowflake, there's even a channel called Mika's Rhetoric that I watched recently because she was covering some stuff with Raw Beauty Christie. Even that channel, who is not typically, I don't think, an Amberlynn Reid channel, unless she is, and I just didn't know. I literally just found her a couple weeks ago. Even that channel is covering her. And when Amberlynn comes on here and just, like, hints at things that are happening but doesn't say everything, what Amberlynn is doing is having, like, pushing people to go to those channels to get the answers. And she's out here saying, like, y'all are running with your own narratives of what happened, but giving no context. She doesn't even allude to the things that aren't true. She just says, you don't have the full story. And so, what are people gonna do if they don't have any idea and they only watch Amberlynn? They're gonna go seek out the answers. They're gonna go find the answers from Mr. Snowflake, from Alex's Shook, from Oh Lordy It's Jordy, whoever, whatever, you know? Like, they're gonna go to Kiwi Farms. They're gonna go find subreddits where they're talking about it, because Amberlynn is not giving the story. Like, this is your chance, and I'm not saying you have to tell everything, but at least if you're saying things aren't true, at least address what parts aren't true. Address what we don't know, you know? Like, you don't want people to make their own narratives about it. Give us a narrative, then. What narrative do you want us to believe? What is your story? What is your truth?
I had a future planned. And I was happy. And I was so fucking happy.
You had a future plan for a girly pop that you allegedly only knew for a month. Please be serious, Amberlynn.
And so loved. And now we aren't together anymore because, like, her mental health comes first and her safety comes first.
Okay, well, your mental health comes first. Log off and go to therapy.
I should have known something like this was gonna happen because 9 times out of 10, people make the smallest thing that I do or say or whatever it may be into, like, a fucking huge thing. Like,
this is not the smallest thing. This is literally your new girlfriend being a feeder, which you adamantly denied in the last video, and then proof came out that showed that she was. Like, this is not the smallest thing. This is actually, for lack of a better word, pretty huge.
I should have known. Like, I should have known. I shouldn't have ever shared her. I shouldn't have done it. But we were so fucking happy and in love and on cloud 9. Like, literally.
I'm sorry. I know she's crying, but it's really hard to take her seriously. It's really hard to take her seriously when she's like, we were so in love. We were so in love. You've been in lust like 1,200 times. I'm not even convinced you've ever actually been in love.
I've never felt so loved before. And to have that taken from me because
I've never felt so loved before. Just completely erases all the times that she's said that about every single previous partner she's ever had. Please be serious.
Actually hate me and that actually want to see me miserable. They don't care. Like, they don't care.
Listen, if it will make you happy to be in a relationship with a feeder, then call up Tommy Salami right now, get her back over, and let's just keep it moving, you know? let's just keep it moving. Like, listen, it's not my life you're hurting. If you don't think people should be concerned, then maybe we shouldn't, you know? Like that's the thing also about this is that I think it's hard also, I mean, for the people that aren't concerned about Amberlynn, it's hard to be concerned for her, to be honest with you, when she's not concerned for herself. I was talking to a friend last night about that while we played Fortnite, because said friend also enjoys watching Amberlynn content. And I was expressing to her, like, oh yeah, like I have some empathy, like it must fucking suck to not, like, be able to share parts of your life when you're a vlogger. Like, share important people in your life when your whole job is vlogging and sharing your life. Like, that must suck to some extent, like I already explained. And then I was also like, and it is like, I am genuinely a bit concerned because of the nature of what Tommy does with women. And then my friend was like, listen, bestie, I see where you're coming from. I hear you. But also, like, Amberlynn's not concerned for herself. Like, how are we supposed to be? And I'm like, you know what? To some extent, especially after all of this, after all we've watched so far in this video, I'm sort of kind of inclined to agree. I'm sort of kind of inclined to be on the same page of, like, it's clear Amberlynn doesn't care. You want to be with Tommy after all that we know about her now? Go for it, bestie. Live your best life.
It's all just for fucking show and for drama and people monetizing and making money. Like, it's not fair. But I hope...
Also, just to be clear, I think most of the people who did the initial, like, expose of Tommy and her behaviors on the internet, I think most of those people not monetizing their content for what it's worth, like, just sharing about it.
These people are happy because not only did they ruin my life, but they're ruining someone else's life, and her mental health is not good right now, and neither am I.
Okay, like, well then log off.
Like, look at me. Like, I just am a fucking mess.
Outside of, like, the redness in your face from kind of sort of crying, like, you look the same as you always do, bestie.
Like, everything right now feels heavy and scary, and it's just not okay. Like...
Log off.
I regret so badly ever sharing her. I know people are gonna watch this and just not give a fuck. They're just gonna roll their eyes and just not care. I feel like my words don't matter to a lot of people, or the way that I feel. They never have mattered. People watch me to just laugh at me and to hate me. And
no.
I'm really...
I love how she took all of 2 seconds earlier in this video to be like, I know I have people who support me, but this isn't about you. And now she's already, by the end of this video, I know people only watch to, like, hate me and blah, 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 blah. Like, girl, you said yourself that people do watch you and support you and want the best for you. Please be serious.
Realizing, like, people just want to ruin my life, and it worked. So people literally just don't think before they post. They're fucking just hungry for the next drama, the next thing to make me look bad or to make someone I love look bad. Like, that's just what they're waiting for. And when they thought they found that...
No, we don't even really have to wait. It's almost expected at this point. You make yourself look bad. Bestie, you haven't learned anything. You really haven't. You put this information... You put Tommy out there, okay? Tommy put her own feeder content and feeder past onto the internet, all right? Just... Like, the empathy only goes so far for me, I have to say.
They turned it into something way bigger than what it really is.
Then tell us what it really is.
I do not know the full story. And
tell us the full story.
You never will. I really don't know what else to say. Besides, I kind of just feel defeated and hopeless, and I'm absolutely heartbroken. Like, it's just the worst feeling in the world to go from being so fucking happy and, like, so sure of my feelings and my future, to have that just ripped away from me over something that I didn't even do. Like, that's, like, the hardest part.
Oh. Okay. Alright. Oh, on the screen also I see the video. I meant to say something at the beginning of this video about the pre-recorded video I did with the eyebrows. I honestly, if I had seen all the stuff that came out before I published that video, ain't no way I would want to continue the narrative that I look like Tommy Salami. That was pre-recorded, and I said it in the video, and I also had said in the video the day prior that I was pre-recording stuff, and I think some people just missed it, because I got a lot of comments from people that were like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't you address, like, the awful, horrible stuff that Tommy's done, this, that, the other? I'm like, well, besties, it's because I recorded this a day ago, and I'm currently in Georgia. Anyways, that's besides the point. Sorry. Now, I've been filming for a long time. We're like an hour and 7 minutes into this without edits right now, so... My brain feels like mush. There's obviously, I probably didn't cover every single thing that y'all were looking for my opinion on, but I figured the best place to start today was just reacting to the videos like I normally do and giving my thoughts. And it's really frustrating that Amberlynn isn't able to see this as somewhat of a blessing in disguise. It does not feel like old Tommy Salami was going to be good for her in the long run. And I wish for her to someday see this from a different perspective. I think she is love drunk. I think that she really thinks that Tommy is it. And it's clear that she refuses to see what evidence is out there. And also, I wish she would have just been at least a little bit more specific. Tell us what specifically we don't know the full story about. Tell us what isn't true. Because when you just come on here and vaguely allude to stuff, you really are sending people to the channels that are covering this drama to get their answers. They're going there to see what has gotten you so upset because you couldn't even address it in your own video. And I think that that's, like, a mistake on your end, honestly, Amberlynn. Like, especially because, like, what is Tommy gonna do for you? You know? And that's not even to mention that there's so many people that really think that Tommy and Valentine were the same person. There's so many people that think that Tommy is actually still in the picture and that this is gonna be another example of wifey, where she, like, pretended for a while that wifey no longer existed and that there was a new girlfriend named Alex. But then, like, she stopped even referring to an Alex because she couldn't keep her lies straight, and then went back to just calling wifey Feline or whatever. It was a whole ordeal that she's already done once before and people think is happening again. So, I mean, I guess maybe that's why she's not being more specific. It honestly makes no sense to me. The only other thing I have to say before we wrap this up for the day is that Amberlynn also already changed her Instagram handle away from Tommy's Girl, which was already the dumbest Instagram handle ever. Like, why this girl has to have Instagram handles that reflect who she's dating at the time beats me. I have no idea. But it's now just Amby. So if you're looking for her on Instagram, that's where you can find her. I did post a GIF on Twitter when I saw that news of me doing the, like, dearly beloved candle situation type of deal. And I contemplated on whether or not I would do any kind of memorial service situation type of deal today. I don't typically do them for, like, breakups of people because, like, I think, like, as silly as this situation is, like, it's also very serious. And it's, like, super serious. And we also, like, part of the whole narrative and story is related to somebody passing away. And it just feels like that would be too on the nose, insensitive, etc. So no memorial service in this situation. It's too serious. That's literally something I started doing for the goofy ass, like, diets that Amberlynn and Chantal would try for a week and then quit. Like it's never supposed to be about, like, real life serious things. And so if you're wondering where that's at, that's why. I always get some questions after breakups of, like, why didn't you do one for that? Well, it's just because I feel like it's way more serious than, like, Amberlynn trying and failing Jenny Craig for the 1200th time, You feel me? Anyways, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen moving forward. Let me know if you feel like I missed something. And I hope you all enjoyed this, and thanks so much for your patience and waiting for me to get to this. For what it's worth, I had a great time at the wedding. The wedding was beautiful. It was gorgeous. We had a lot of fun, and it was wonderful. But anyways, thanks for your patience and me getting to this. I know it's a big story. Lots of people are talking about it, and I appreciate that. Even if you watched 1,200 other people cover it, that you're still watching me as well. So thank you so much. If you're brand new here, consider subscribing down below. Hit the bell button so you get notifications. Make sure to leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media. I enjoyed seeing you all back here today, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!